Hello folks, welcome to Francesco's Favourites. I haven't done a video on here for ages, but I thought like a 2 weekly to 3 weekly roundup of some of my favourite things across a month might be a cool little topic to do. So I've broken this down into 4 categories: productivity, technology, music, website. So these are all different things that have got me quite interested in the last month and that might help you and find value as I discover more in the productivity world. So first off, productivity. One of the things that I've found a lot of value in over the last month is actually by journaling. This sounds really generic, but I'm going to talk through how I'm doing it in a little bit of a different way than I've ever done before. So I previously used to journal pretty routinely, like in my sort of little Baron Fig notebook every single morning, and then it was on the Remarkable, and sort of just consistently for like 3-4 years. And probably about 6 to 9 months ago, I just came to a stop in doing it, and I sort of was beating myself up about it, of the action of not doing it. But I did see sort of a drop in the way that I was communicating with myself. Like, for example, when I didn't journal for a week or like for like a consistent period of time, I would doubt myself in a lot of areas. For example, like I would say, like thinking about like how I'm managing a particular part of the business, I would be just overthinking it and not really getting results. But when I journaled, I felt like I was in some sort of slight control of it because I was expressing how I feel. So I started rewriting on Mem and doing a sort of daily journal, but in a different fashion. So what I'd do is I'd open up the journal every time I'd start doing some type of work, and what I do is I sort of journal to myself as if I was having a meeting with myself. It's very weird. So here's an example: is like today I would start doing these 3 tasks. I'm quite worried about this task because I'm not sure how successful it will be, but I'm gonna take a go and then start doing the task and then journal as I go. So almost like a ongoing practice across a day. And actually it was really quite different. I found it really beneficial, and I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 months now, and I've just found it really helpful as a sort of like a meeting with myself just constantly throughout the day. So I then have this journal of the day of things where I struggled and things where I good, and I sort of also felt as well that I was completing more as well, because I was like, okay, I'm actually activity logging this, which was quite fun. So that's my productivity benefit from this month, and I thought that'd be cool to share with you guys. So next up is music. I wanted to share the 2 new songs by Ludovico. It's Nightbook and I think the other one's Night as well. But basically this album, I don't know whether you know or anybody knows of the Ludovico tracks. Normally they're very classical bass tracks, but about a year or a year and a half ago, he collaborated with some other sort of DJs, I think, which is weird, and basically made these Arabic type music tracks, combining his music with a sort of Arabic tone. And wow, like these are sensational tracks for if you're looking to work and you want to stay focused. I'm a big listener to like Endel and like Sci-Fi Scapes on Spotify, and these sort of tracks are insane. They're about 8 minutes long and it's super amazing for focus. He's basically taken all of his classic tracks and done this with them. So now I believe most of them are out in the various volumes, and they are insane. I highly recommend checking them out. If you like that sort of background noise without any sort of lyrics or sort of vocals. One thing I'd say is that if you're looking at Ludovico and you're not into classical music, this is by far not the same thing. This is much more wider in the capacity, I think, but insane, and I love it so much. Technology. I have been, over the last month, I've been definitely pumping it out on my Kindle. I love the Kindle, and I've just been reading so much more. But what I sort of got discouraged by on the Kindle is it tells you that you're like 60% away through the book. And I'm like, oh, that's stressful because I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there. But actually, the book finishes at 70%, which is weird because there's so much appendix. And I never knew that. So I've actually ended up pushing through and completing a lot more books in the last couple of months. So it actually was a bit of false metrics, but I'm in love with the Kindle app as well, that keeps track of the sort of ongoing streaks that you have. Haven't been doing it for the last 3 days, but at least you can keep track of how many weekly streaks, monthly streaks, and how many days you've done in a row per month, which is insane. But I really love the Kindle, and I used it insane amounts on holiday. I pretty much read 2 whole books, which I never do. So I'm getting into my reading a bit more. Definitely helps me sleep better as well. This is a really generic one. I feel like this is like one from 10 years ago, technology advice. Next up is the website that I check out a lot more is Upwork. As more recently, I've been sort of looking to outsource micro activities as part of the business. And here's an example, thumbnails. They take me normally about sort of an hour to do the week's worth of thumbnails. Well, I've basically just outsourced the majority of these to like sort of regular people who do them as part of their job, and it's insane. Like, the ability to have that outsourced is so helpful, and now I'm actually able to free up like 1 to 2 hours a week, which I can then focus on more strategic stuff. So I'm really interested in this Upwork and sort of how it works. I've heard of it in the past, I've actually been on it in the past as a freelancer, but as now I'm sort of like looking at a few different ways to sort of improve the business in terms of processes. So it's been really interesting for that. Anyway, folks, if you like this format, I don't know what it's going to be like in the future, but let's see what we think. And if you have any comments or thoughts about any of the systems that I'm talking about, feel free to pop them in the comments below. Anyway, folks, a super thank you very much, and I hope this was helpful. Let me know actually as well, one thing that would be cool is like whether there's any categories that you would find much value in, like for example, like a new category like apps that you're checking out or something like that. Maybe I should have just done apps. That seems like the go-to. But or anything else like setups or systems and etc. Because I'd love to share a bit more about what's coming across my plate at least. Anyway, folks, big thank you, and I'll see you in the next Francesco's Favourites video. Cheerio, folks.